Hi, friends. This is the reading lesson for second grade. Today we're going to read a story called The Oregon Trail. Now, you've probably heard of the Oregon Trail before, but we are actually going to read a diary today about somebody that was traveling on the Oregon Trail. So you should have your papers in front of you, pages 6 and 7. These were emailed to your parents. They're also posted on Canvas since we haven't had a distribution to get you guys your booklets yet. So we are going to read these 2 pages. There's 4 different diary entries, and we're going to kind of learn about what it was like to travel on the Oregon Trail. We're going to read this diary from a girl named Edith. And we are going to be highlighting key events, and then we're going to, or highlighting some key events and then writing like one sentence from each of them. Okay, so let's get started.
Short Read 1. Remember to annotate as you read.
You can highlight the important things from each diary entry. You're probably not going to highlight full sentences, maybe words or phrases that help you learn about what is going on this Oregon Trail.
The Oregon Trail. May 17th, 1849. Dear Diary, we've been on the Oregon Trail for 2 weeks. I'm exhausted. Papa and I walk while Mama and the baby ride. Papa says it's because our weight would be too much for the mules. Yours truly, Edith.
Okay, so let's stop right there. And as I was following along and listening, I would have highlighted that they've been on the Oregon Trail for 2 weeks, that Edith is exhausted, and that they have to walk. Okay, so she's been literally walking for 2 weeks. Oh my gosh. All right. Let's keep on reading. Diary entry number 2.
June 29th, 1849. Dear Diary, rain, rain, and more rain. Now the trail is more like soup. Today our wagon got stuck in the mud. As a result, a wheel broke. It was another setback. Yours truly, Edith.
So here we learn that it's been raining a lot. So maybe you highlighted rain, rain, and more rain. And that their wagon got stuck in the mud. Oh man. And their wheel broke. Yikes. And a setback means that something that is kind of slowing them down or setting them back from continuing. All right, diary entry number 3.
July 14th, 1849. Dear Diary, sunrise brought a magnificent sight. A herd of buffalo grazing on the plain. Our provisions have been getting low, so we stopped at an Indian village. We traded some iron pans for other supplies. Yours truly, Edith.
All right, so she's talking about walking during sunrise, and they see some buffalo that are grazing on the plain, and they said their provisions have been getting low. Provisions are a fancy word for like supplies. And so they stopped at an Indian village and they traded. So they didn't have money necessarily, but they gave away some of their pans for other supplies. Okay. So I feel like maybe it's getting better, right? All right. Last diary entry.
August 1st, 1849. Dear Diary, we have arrived at Soda Springs. The water has bubbles in it like soda water. We are going to stay here for an extra day because we need the rest. We can bathe in the hot springs, and Mama says the water is great for making bread. Yours truly, Edith.
All right, so they got to a place called Soda Springs, and the water has bubbles in it like soda water. That's pretty cool, right? And they decide they're going to stay there because they needed some extra rest. So it says stay here for an extra day. And they can use the hot springs to bathe in. And the mama said the water is great for making bread. So she plans to make some bread while she's there. So this is it for what we're going to read in this diary entry. But if you stop and think about what life was like on this journey, pretty tough, right? We know that they've been walking a long ways, that, things happen, they get set back. It can be pretty rough. Okay, what we're going to do is we are going to do some writing. So grab your pencils and we are going to write about one sentence for each um, entry. Okay, so I'm going to get mine ready over here. Let's start writing on page 6. So if you did not print this out and you can just write this on a sheet of paper, that is totally fine. So we're going to start by putting the date of the entry. So May 17th, 1849, and put a colon after it because that's going to be, we're going to write one sentence for each entry, like I said. So we learn here that they've been walking on this trail, right? So Edith and her family have been walking for how long? 2 weeks. So go ahead and write Edith and her family have been walking for 2 weeks. All right, when you're ready, you can just go down to the next line. We're going to write diary entry number 2 on this one as well. So June 29th, 1849. Don't forget to separate your date from your year and put a colon right after 1849. And this is when it talks about the rain, right? So rain and mud, because that's what happened to the trail, make it hard for what to move? What are they traveling in? The wagons, right? For the wagons to move. Oh, I can't imagine. And remember, this is where they ended up getting that broken wheel. Okay, so 2 sentences, one for May 17th, one for June 29th. Now let's move on to page
I heard
7. And we're going to do the same thing. So we have July 14th, comma, 1849. And don't forget your colon. And here they talk about seeing the buffalo and then that their supplies was getting low. So they had to do what? They had to trade their pans for some supplies, right? So Edith's family, trades iron pans for other supplies. If you want to use the word provisions, you can, but you don't have to. And last but not least, we have August 1st, 1849. Don't forget your colon. And you are going to write this sentence on your own. Now, remember, when you are writing a key event or a story event or a main idea, you are not copying from the book. But you do need to use your highlights to help you. So let's kind of talk about what we might write on this story event or key event. So it says that they arrive. So Edith's family arrives in Soda Springs and they stay there for an extra day. That could be something you write. So remember, you're not saying I, you're not saying we, like it says in the book. You would say Edith's family, because if you say we, that means that you are in the story and you're not in this story. So you would say Edith's family, just like we did here, okay, just like we did over here, arrives at Soda Springs and they stay there to rest. Or you can talk about what they do in the hot springs and what they are going to use the water for. So you could also say Edith's family is going to bathe in the hot springs and make bread with the water. You could say something like that. Okay, so go ahead, write this key event on your own, and then you are going to submit this on Canvas. So, diary entry August 1st, 1849. You can read it to me or you can type it out. That is all for our lesson today, friends. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about the Oregon Trail. We'll talk about this a little bit later as well. We'll see you later. Great job.